Oh, this is Mr. Hornsby 3. This is the Mr. Hornsby 83 show I almost said Facebook again, on YouTube. I'm still getting used to getting back into the YouTube rhythm. So, I did not do the video Thursday because I decided for right now I'm just going to do like 1 week video, one video per week until I get back into the flow of things. So, plus I got a lot of things going on the Facebook fan page as well. So today I'm going to give my review of James Bond, No Time to Be a Father. No Time to Die. Initially, the name of the thing was James Bond, No Time to Make It to Theaters. Now it's No Time to Be a Father. No Time to Die. And I gotta say, this movie was pretty good. I'd say out of the Daniel Craig ones, because he had like 5, I'd say this is probably one of his best ones. Now, was it as good as Skyfall? No. Was it as good as Casino Royale? Yeah, somewhat, but it wasn't as good as those 2 movies. But I did like this one. It starts out pretty much with him and that lady that he got with at the end of Spectre. They're talking about secrets with each other. She's telling him he needs to get over the past, but what happened with the lady that he was in love with in frickin' Casino Royale, who he thought betrayed him, but it really wasn't the case. And the biggest thing in this movie was the main villain was killing a bunch of Spectre agents. And you don't find out why till later on in the movie, but eventually you do find out why he was killing them. And he explains it. Also, Bond goes out to go to the cemetery of that lady, and some Spectre agents attack him, and he thinks she sold him out. He puts her on a train. You get the opening credit, and pretty much it also showed the flashback right before they showed Bond with this girl. It showed the flashback of the main villain killing her dad, who was a Spectre agent. Her dad was a Spectre agent, but he wasn't. So, and she ran into one. She was a little girl. Killed her mom too. She was a little girl. She fell in the ice. I guess he saved her, and she owed him a debt, I guess. But anyway, let me close this real fast. Those came back in awful quick. I gotta do this when I'm in the middle of a video. Anyway. So, Bond was retired. And then he puts her on the train and he was gonna disappear. We get the opening credits scene. I kinda like the opening credits. Like one of my favorite ones they've done in the opening credit. But honestly, I still kind of like the GoldenEye opening credit as well. But, show a lot of dogs in there? Yeah. Alright, making sure. Well, there's Stormy. So like I said, we finally find out there's also a plot where this lady he was with apparently had a kid, I guess, because she was talking about she had a secret from him, but she didn't tell him. And then, later on in the movie, he finds out she had a kid. He also finds out later on in the movie he was replaced and someone else got his number. It was a female 007. And, she thought she was as good as Bond, but she kind of wasn't. She was pretty decent, and she was a skilled agent, but she was nowhere near as good as Bond, even though she had that freaking belief that she was. But he also gets recruited back to MI6 because they need to find out why all these agents of Spectre are getting killed. And Bond's like, alright, well, we'll figure it out. But, So, overall, pretty much the same stuff that's happening in all these Daniel Craig movies. He goes on a warpath. He freaking beats the bad guy in the end. But he does find out he is a father, which he didn't get a chance to find out that because, like I said, he freaking put her on a train and disappeared. Didn't want nothing to do with her because he thought she set him up by Spectre because they knew where he was, and he's like, yeah, you set me up, didn't you? So he was still not trusting because of what happened in the events of Casino Royale. And honestly, I kind of like the fact that they had a new villain that really wasn't a Spectre villain, but, you know, his motives were kind of wonky. It was like, I think this villain probably had the worst motives out of any freaking Bond villain in any of the Bond movies, period. I mean, he wanted revenge on Spectre, I get that. And then he just wanted to do some stupid thing with the environment. I don't know. It was a dumb plot. I mean, the villain didn't even do much in this movie. I mean, you only see him a number of times, and then it gets to the point where he fights Bond, kills Bond. There's a point where he has Bond bowing to him because he's threatening to kill Bond's daughter, and Bond's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. I'll do whatever you want. Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I gotta say, this felt like a final appearance by the Bond star this time. I mean, you can kind of say that with Spectre. Usually, when they're in their last movie, they freaking... I mean, Daniel Craig still gave a good performance and all, but, you know, a lot better than he did in Spectre. But, I mean, you could tell this was the end. I mean, the plot at the end anyway was he dies, which... I don't know how they backed themselves into the wall with that, because it's like, how are you going to fix that now? Because he died. Unless they make the James Bond money, or unless they say, oh yeah, oh by the way, they're either going to totally remake it, or they're going to now say, oh, the Bond moniker means, you know, it's a code name for the freaking 007 agent, and you only get it if you're 007. I don't know. I mean, there was a point throughout this movie where there's a lot of tension between the new 007 and James Bond, and then finally they become buddies, and, you know, she lets him have his old number back, and, you know, then he tells her, you know what, you could be Bond. So, a lot of tension between them. Surprised she didn't become, you know, the next lady he laid in one of these Bond movies, you know, but... Overall, I gotta give James Bond No Time to Die. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. I still had some problems with the movies, like the villain not being as good as some of the other villains in the Bond series. Whether it's the older Bond movies, whether it's the ones Daniel Craig. I mean, I don't even think he was the best villain in the Daniel Craig universe anyway. I mean, I'd have to give that to the guy from Skyfall. I mean, he was the best villain. Now, people might say Le Chiffre from freaking Casino Royale, but I thought the guy from Skyfall was a lot better than freaking Le Chiffre in Casino Royale. So, yeah, I give James Bond No Time to Die 3.5 out of 5. Good Bond movie. It was like the second best Daniel Craig Bond movie because... Or you could say third if you... actually third best Daniel Craig Bond movie because... Spectre and Quantum of Solace were not that good. And I feel like Skyfall's over top of Casino Royale, but Casino Royale was good, so... Third best Daniel Craig Bond movie out of the Daniel Craig Bonds. Now, it could have been a little bit better, but, you know... Really, he had two great Bond movies with the freaking Casino Royale and the Skyfall, so really the other movies weren't that good. Even this one had its problems, but like I said, it was a lot better than Spectre. It was a lot better than Quantum of Solace, so that's why I put it above Quantum of Solace as the third best in Daniel Craig. Out of the 5 movies, you have the freaking Quantum of Solace and Spectre were just like the bad apples. So you had 3 good Bond movies, I guess you could say, with Daniel Craig, which is, kind of bad when the fact that you've had situations where you had some guys that have had some good Bond movies and some guys that have had some bad Bond movies. Roger Moore. Even Sean Connery had a few bad ones. Even though one of the ones they say is a bad one, I kind of like, which was You Only Live Twice. But as far as overall Bond movies, I'd say it'd probably be in the middle of the pack because, I feel like GoldenEye, and despite what people feel about it, You Only Live Twice, and freaking Skyfall and Casino Royale were probably the best Bond movies, I think. But, like I said, a lot of people didn't like You Only Live Twice, but I liked it. People said Connery's return as frickin' Bond in Diamonds Are Forever was better than Only Live Twice, but it depends on your opinion. I have mine, but yeah, this movie gets a 3.5 out of 5. Now, I don't know what they're going to lead to. Maybe we get James Bond Jr., which is his nephew. And the people who watch Fox might freaking know that anyway. So, anyway, yeah, my Silent Night, Deadly Night video did not do good last week. Really bad one. But I had already reviewed that. And then I showed off my collection, which I've already showed that off on Facebook Live as well. I've showed that off, and I did a Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 freaking review on both of those. So, on Facebook Live when I was away from YouTube. So, next week, I'm going to do next Tuesday, I'm going to do a full in-depth video talking about, the Toy Biz WCW action figures. Got a few of them that I'm going to have on the table that's right over here next to me, but, yeah, overall, let me know what you guys thought of freaking James Bond, No Time to Die, No Time to Be a Father, No Time to Make Theaters. I gave this movie like several different subtitles while we were waiting for this movie to come out. But, not a bad movie. I just wish it would have been a little bit better, and I wish, the villain would have been a little bit of a better villain, but he really wasn't that great of a villain. Anyway, I don't even think he was a villain. He was kind of an anti-hero, I guess you could say. It's like, well, what the heck, Kind of an anti-hero. He's not a villain. Well, that's the only thing I can say about the villain. And then how easily he gets beat by Bond, it's just like, okay, other villains gave Bond a lot of runs. I mean, yeah, he's the one that ultimately leads to Bond's death with this freaking plague thing or whatever he freaking had. Some stupid freaking plague. I don't know. I thought that was a dumb subplot too, but anyway. The fact that he had a kid, I'm surprised Bond didn't have more kids with how much sleeping around he did. But anyway. That'll do it for this one. I'll see you guys next Tuesday where I do an in-depth video talking about the WCW Toy Biz figures. And I'll have some belts on this table as well. So, I think there's 4 Toy Biz figures in this house. From 4 WCW Toy Biz figures in this house. So I'll be, having those sit up on the table. Had a bunch of them a long time ago, but I gave them to my nephew, Little Jeremy. So yeah. So please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe for more. Follow me on my Facebook fan page. Follow me on Twitter, even though I haven't been on Twitter for a while. I eventually got to the point. Well, with my new phone, I probably wouldn't have been able. I couldn't find the app for Twitter on the new phone I got. I think it was last year or the year before. I couldn't find my Twitter app, so I didn't put it on there. And pretty much I wasn't using Twitter that much anyway, so mainly you could catch me on the Facebook fan page. I've done a ton of videos on that thing. I've also, done a couple posts on my normal Facebook page, but, in fact, on my Facebook fan page, I did, a video where I did a Russell Figure Mania review. I also got a Russell Figure Mania thing coming up. It's It's going to be matches. It's not going to be review. It's going to be matches. So I'll probably call it Wrestle Figure Mania Matches. But that won't start till February. And, yeah. And if you like, even though I did them on Facebook, you can go check out my Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 review. I didn't go in depth on it like I did when I did it on Facebook. I think it was last year. I also showed off my collection that I got in my room of some things, some things I've been collecting. So next week, a Toy Talk, which is going to be the WCW Toy Biz figures. So Toy Talk is going to be back on this again. I tried it on Facebook and I've done a few on Facebook, but that was mainly a YouTube thing for me, so I'm going to bring Toy Talk back next Tuesday. That'll do it. Catch you guys later and peace out.